I'm like, well, why don't we go get you some money? He's like, what do you mean? Like go to a bank? I'm like, no, we're not going to banks. Let's get you some business. Just tell me what you need. He's like, I need clients.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter. My name is Andrew Johnson, and I love to have conversations with Northern Colorado's best networkers. And today, I absolutely have one. We have Anthony Navarro from New York Life on the show. Anthony, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Anthony, I've been networking, and you've been a part of the networking scene as long as I have, or longer than I have. But for those who haven't met you yet, share a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, Anthony Navarro. I work for New York Life. I'm actually a 663 advisor, so I'm licensed in all 50 states. Can handle all sorts of variable products, life insurance, a lot of business solutions. So having been a registered nurse in a previous life and a business owner, having built businesses from inception of idea to finished business over a couple of decades. Yeah. So,
well, let's get through that origin story, because your route to being a top performing agent is an interesting one. But how did you get to this point?
Wow. So if we start all the way back with nursing school, came here from Arizona, was recruited for wrestling and nursing, and got my BSN RN at UNC. Phenomenal school for nursing. I think it's still rated the best in the state. Very difficult to get in. I mean, I had a 3.89 GPA, and I was the last one picked. So it's like, I mean, it's intense. While I was doing pediatrics, I ended up opening up my first company, which just took off. And then I opened up another one right after that, and that one took off. And then the next one after that, and then I started patenting and trademarking products, did a bunch of reality TV shows that kind of came out of those businesses. And so that just led in some really interesting directions, which when I wrote my book, it was about a year before New York Life was starting to pursue me. So they're like, how do you know about these products? And I'm like, I've used them. So when I talk to business professionals about ways to permanently capture wealth in their business, it's a no-brainer because I have seen them. They do work, you know, and just like marketing, it's what you put into it. It's the talent that you bring in. It's the expertise. It's also being genuinely connected to the success of your partners, all the people around you. So
you said you were headhunted. It's New York Life's coming to pursue you. What was it that they make you offer you couldn't refuse, or how did that all work out?
It was a funny story. You know, I was talking to this established agent, and they said, "How many interviews did you do?" And this will show you how naive I am. I'm like, "Interviews? I didn't do any. They just hired me." They're like, "New York Life is the best. They don't just hire anybody. How many times did you go to lunch with a partner?" And I'm like, I don't know about lunch. He took me to coffee, but he never bought me lunch. I don't know, 4 times. He's like, those were interviews. I'm like, well, I was so naive. I had no idea. But so I still bug my partner that he owes me some coffee. But he's doing pretty well because of the production I bring in. And to be honest, New York Life has had great education, great support, and they let me off the leash. They let me be disruptive. So I'm always going to look at the world differently. And so that's why when I put together financial plans or designs for businesses, they're like, this is kind of amazing. How'd you do this? Well, there's always a way to get to a destination that is the most protective, the most profitable, and also helps bring more people along for the ride.
Well, let's get into that, because a lot of companies don't let people be disruptive. You got to stay in the lines. You got to follow the process. But you're a top performer. I think it's allowed you or afforded you to potentially put yourself out there different, because they trust you, because you bring in a lot. But how have you earned that trust to get some potential wiggle room to do the things you know you need to do? Yeah,
absolutely. So obviously I have to stay within FINRA rules, all the regulations. And I tell people when they tell me, hey, I want to do this big $1 million rollover, and I tell them how long it's going to take, they're like, why, man, I need it done today. I'm like, the delay that you see is things like suitability and things like, is it being done correctly? Will it benefit the client? So all of these little delays are actually for your benefit. And I handhold people through the entire process. And I'm very unusual in that I stay very engaged with my clients. I don't just sell to them and come back a year later. I check in on the health of their business. Do they have a new child being born? Do they have a grandmother that recently died? Because I really do take, and it is overused, the word holistic, but to truly see how our strategies and solutions can impact a family multi-generationally. So they give me that room to be disruptive, and a lot of it is just properly communicating with my partner what I'm doing and making sure that I'm within certain parameters. But really, it's about character and personality and making sure that the integrity is always there. I think that's the big piece, because once, and luckily in my career, I have not delivered a death benefit check. And that's going to be a big one for me. When I was working in the ER and organs are everywhere and people are literally dying in my arms, it took a while for me to get home and process that out. And then the next night would happen, So knowing that if I make a mistake, if I make a mistake with my client, that can affect their retirement. There's no doing it over.
Right.
So the clients that I work with that take me in and we basically interview each other. Are we right for each other? And to make sure that when we put a plan together, that it will benefit their children and generations of their family that haven't been born yet. But I like to put out there, how often do you meet with your agent? And do they meet with you for a reason other than to sell you something else or to maybe make sure that you're renewing? But I would say that if I meet with a client 4 times in 6 months, 3 of those times are meant simply to brainstorm, how do we grow your business? How do we take a different view of marketing? How do we take something you're already doing and amp it up? For example, I met with 7 people from the last time I met with our group in Windsor, and we're already set in second and third meetings. Nice. And it has nothing to do with my products. It has to do with seeing the success of people, because all successful people have one problem, and that's taxes. And I could be the type of agent where all I want to do is grow your wealth in the market, but am I really taking care of you if 40% of your money is going to be set on fire with taxes? Or am I truly working for you to find ways to make all of these solutions fit together like a puzzle? And when you can see that picture and how it changes year to year, I think that's why in April and November, December of last year, I didn't make a call. It was all referrals. And I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, just recognizing too that a referral is somebody bringing you into their family even more. Oh, you need to work with my mom or my sister. They don't do that unless they feel there's real value. And so helping others grow around me as far as other businesses I think is really important.
Well, your follow-up and follow-through skill set is exceptional. I see a lot of people network. They have a great event, and then they will self-admit, oh, yeah, I didn't reach out to them or I didn't schedule that. Yeah. But here you are following up, setting a plan, developing relationships. What advice would you have for somebody networking to make sure that the follow-up happens at a high level?
Yeah, I think that has to do with something that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I think a lot of people show up to networking events, marketing events, and they're looking for the business. Like, where's my business? Why aren't you referring? And I always go there with a clean slate thinking, I'm going to help 2 or 3 businesses right now connect with either somebody I already know in the room or somebody I have in my back pocket that's been an exceptional referral for me, and connect them like right away. And so I think that speed of that is necessary because there's a lot of intensity and a lot of drive that can be lost. So I think timing is important. But going into it with the mindset that, actually, I'm going to give you 4 words that I live by: without witness and without reward. If you can, it's unattainable, right? If I were to help somebody, or let's say even just buy their Subway sandwich, and then they see me walk out, they're like, hey, what's your name? Thank you. The thank you is a reward. And without witness, well, he knows who it is. So if you can strive for that level of giving without witness and without reward, then I feel the closer I am to that, the truer the referral it is that I'm giving, or my time. So one of the things that I'm really grateful that my clients tell me is when we're in a coffee shop or wherever, or meeting somewhere, I feel like I'm the only person in the world when I talk to you. And I'm like, for that moment, you are. You're absolutely just the center, the core of what I'm looking at. And so when I go home and work on a plan, it's the same idea. I kind of shut the world out and I just look and see how can I benefit that person? Because someday when I'm long gone, these things that I do, these policies, these strategies, they have to pay out, you know? And so that's what I look at, not just, you know, what am I doing this quarter or this year, but how will it impact people when I'm gone? And so we also know that having kids, you know, you never stop worrying about your kids. You're going to be 90 years old. And you're like, hey, babe, like, where are you driving? Make sure you got this, you know, spare tire, whatever. And that's the kind of care I like to give my clients and their policies. There has to be a person behind that piece of paper that I'm giving them.
How much do you think your networking has led to your success? Like how much of your marketing or your sales is through referrals and direct networking?
Yeah. If I were to give a picture, it's the fuse. And so the referrals are the rocket body and the warhead, if you will, that's a whole different piece of that. But the fuse is, you know, when I network with people, and people never believe when I say this, but I am normally just very shy, very introverted. And when I walk into a room, it's very disassociative. Like I'll ask somebody afterwards, hey, what did I say in that speech? They're like, what do you mean? You gave the speech 2 seconds ago. I don't remember what word I said. So I have to put on a different set of armor because my emotional radar picks up everything in the room. And so I can pick up the nonverbals, the body language, all that. And sometimes I will pick the one in the room. I'm like, man, they're new to this group. They're in a corner. They're never coming back. How's that going to affect your business? So I actually will go talk to them and make sure that something good happens. And next thing you know, I'm like, hey, you've just signed up, right? So I'll give you an example of how that can be done negatively. When I was with BNI, somebody 2 months in said, oh, you'll never refer to the Mary Kay lady, so don't even waste your time with that. And I was, oh man, I made it my mission. I'm like, wait a second. Where else is that happening where they're not referring me because, oh, you and Anthony won't get along. You just don't even bother. So I'm paying for somebody not to do business with me. So I called her up that day and I said, hey, I'm having an event at my place, my building, that I'm going to center around health and beauty and all these different things. And I made sure that just to make a point, you know, because that's not the way to do that.
Right.
This isn't high school. So we need to remember that when we're referring and doing business, we are here to do business. Let the cards fall where they may, but make the referral, you know? And if it works out, you might be like, wow, you're a great business partner. But 3 of the people that I met with last week, I was already kind of setting us, you know, designing their center of influence, their power team. And they were like, well, wow, I've been with this group for a year. I never thought of that person as a potential referral partner. I'm like, well, here's how. So I like to draw it out. I'm a big fan of the Remarkable tablet. And so I will literally draw out how this is going to play. And so when I was 14, I used to design billboards first. So for me, the visual, oh my God, this is the layout. And then it comes here. And for them to see it in action before it has taken place.
Well, let's do a networking deep dive. I would love to hear some of you met at a networking event or through networking. How were you able to cultivate and grow that referral relationship? Take us through, give them a shout out, whoever you want.
I'm going to give a shout out to Trevor Jones with Rising Altitude. And so I go to this tabletop event, and it was at a basement of a dentist office. And we're doing our rounds, and I meet with him. There was something about him that reminded me of my dad.
Interesting.
Just a small business owner. And just, he always had like the electronic like tester thingies, and he was just that kind of personality. So I met with him, and then we met at our office, and he said, well, I don't know why you want to meet with me. I left a 17-year job, 3-year gap, no business. I just started my own business. I don't have any money. I'm like, well, why don't we go get you some money? He's like, what do you mean? Like go to a bank? I'm like, no, we're not going to banks. Let's get you some business. Just tell me what you need. He's like, I need clients. I'm like, all right, so just so you understand, when you tell me that, I don't know when to stop. So you're gonna have to tell me when to stop. And he didn't know what I meant. So 4 o'clock hits and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. well, get your butt over to Bulldogs because I'm going to do some handshake introductions. We're going to meet with this group and I'm going to personally introduce you to everybody. And we're driving home and I text him, hey, how'd it go? He's like, oh man, I got 9 connections, 3 really good ones. I'm like, what are you doing tomorrow at 7:00? Well, nothing. I told you I have no clients. Good. 7:00. Margie's Java Joint, got another event coming up. Same thing. Be there. And I kept hammering. And he, to his benefit, he showed up. He showed up. And one of my favorite texts, and I still have it, it's like I want to frame it. It said, I am booked out a month and a half. We need to talk. But why don't we go into this fully prepared to just be givers, right? And so I understand giver's gain is you hope to receive something, but I think truly to get the best referrals, just go into it with a pure servant's heart. And you know, it doesn't have to happen that day. It could be like a year later, 2 years later, it's the biggest job of your life. And all of a sudden, you know, Trevor's getting a call. Wait a second, you want me to redo 2 big houses in Aspen or something like that?
Sure.
Out of just a really beautiful connection where he said, hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with your plumbing. I'll fix it for free. You know what I mean? Just to give. And, but I love that one. That was a big one, but I used that model for the next 3 months and it propelled me to career conference. And then from there to executive council, which I think only 7% of agents in the nation make.
Cool.
So yeah, that one for me really stands out. There's a lot of them, but that one.
It's such a good story, and the thing that makes them attractive in a room is those ones that really are selfless, the ones that can make you feel like you're the only person in the room, because that's rare. There's a lot of people checking their phone, checking their watch. Yeah. They'll look in the eye and then they'll look over the shoulder because they're trying to decide who they're going to walk over to next. Yeah. If you can just stay focused, stay relevant, connected, it lends to some better results.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, here I am working in finances and investing, but the most valuable asset we have is time.
Sure.
And so when somebody's looking at their phone, they're not valuing your time. And so think about that. You can't get that 30 seconds back or that 30 minutes. So they didn't just take your time, they took your life. So be intentional with what you're doing, whether it's the prospecting, the building cases, or working on a client's job. I just heard a phenomenal story just on how the floors were made out here. Just that kid they gave a chance to, and the floors are gorgeous here.
Yeah, shout out to Content Creator Studio, home of the Connections That Matter podcast, which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, there's going to be people watching this. I think you might have a full schedule, people wanting to schedule one-to-ones with you, but what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can reach me at Navarro02 at F as in Frank, T as in Tom, .New York Life. And Navarro is spelled Navarro. You can call me at 970-381-8188. And I meet with everybody. There's agents out there that'll say, you got to have 2 million before I'll talk to you. I love building the underdog into the powerhouse. And at that point, I think that the loyalty will be created just because of the intentionality and the commitment. I'm committed to my clients until the day I'm done. And even then, my policies and designs will continue from there. And I hope to mentor other agents through the process as well, so that there's more people that look at it from a different perspective. So I'm hoping that the New York Life will extend that once I make conference for the council for the second time.
Right on. So, well, Anthony, thanks so much for coming on the show, sharing your wisdom, and look forward to continuing to network with you around Northern Colorado.
Yeah, and I appreciate just that you do this for people, because, you know, I know it's part of the marketing model and all these different things, but the effect that you have with these is powerful, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you.
Right on, Anthony. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey all, thanks for watching. I love networking and building relationships with other Northern Colorado business leaders. So if you want to come meet some of these podcast guests, meet me, or meet some other amazing entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, I would love to have you attend one of our next events. Go in the podcast description. There's a ways that you can see our upcoming schedule, and maybe you could be a future podcast guest as well. Thanks.